Hey, how are you? I'm scared. Here's why.
Last time you were here, you said, we're occupied. Said by who?
I answered AIPAC, but Israel.
That's right. Our nation, specifically America's government, is occupied by a foreign power. It's called Israel. Welcome back to the JP Reacts channel, my freedom-loving friend. This is where we help spread the light of truth and freedom because truth conquers. If you haven't noticed, waking up is hard to do. Something I have been asleep to for quite a while because none of this is new. There's just new realizations of it, is how occupied our country is by another country. And I'll prove it to you. It's very simple. And as you've probably learned, much like I have over the last 5 years, waking up is hard to do. But that's the price you pay for waking up to the reality. It's an uncomfortable truth. Cool. You can either wake up to uncomfortable truth or experience peaceful lies. It's up to you. I'm guessing you're similar to me, where whether you like it or not, you always choose the path of awakening. So here we are with Israel occupying the U.S. And this is just coming to light more and more. We'll go through a few things that just will probably scare the crap out of you unless you're a sociopath and you don't experience fear. However, the reason why we do that is you can't be awake without it. You can't know the truth without it. And if you don't know the truth, you can't help change. It's kind of like the body of America is diseased. You're diagnosed with a disease and you're like, oh my God, this is a terrible day. I'm diagnosed with a disease. But what would happen if you have the same disease, but you just weren't aware of it? You could do nothing about it. So your body just rots and you die and suffer. However, if you go through the uncomfortable truth of realizing you have a disease, you awaken to that. Yeah, it's uncomfortable, but now you can do something about it. That's what we're here to do. So how occupied is the U.S. government by Israel? Take a look at this. The politicians you see in red are Israeli politicians. No, they're elected American. Yeah, they're paid by AIPAC to do Israel influence. Just imagine if this was Russia. If red meant Russia, you'd be like, holy Lord, this is treason. Our government has been taken over, not with a military, but with something far more conniving. Look at Russia occupying the U.S. government. And you're like, oh, that's Israel. Yeah, but that's normal, right? You know, that's just how it is. Right? It's kind of like we've accepted that because we've been it's just so normal. Like, well, here's the new norm. You'll get used to it. But ladies and gentlemen, this is actually not normal. This is extremely abnormal to have this, any amount is too much, but to have this amount of any foreign government having infiltrated influence, and then oftentimes very strong influence into politicians that are supposed to be looking after American best interests and doing the will of the people that elected them. This is literally insane. How is this not treason? The answer is, I think it actually is. But just like in the beginning of COVID, you and I were waking up to so much. I mean, some of it was new, but so much of it was stuff that was there. Corrupt power, globalist, pharmaceutical stuff. It'd been going on for a while, but COVID was the time of the Great Awakening. Well, I think now we're at a time of a greater awakening. We are on the doorstep of something. More and more people are waking up. The more you wake up to it, the more you speak about it, the more the mind virus tries to shut you down. You know, you're just labeled an anti-Semite. It's like, I'm not talking about Jewish people. I'm talking about a foreign government infested with the political ideology of Zionism. It's just as bad as communism, in my opinion. But here's a quick example of people waking up.
How much influence does Israel have on our country?
Israel's controlling our government.
Israel controls us.
Israel is in control of our government.
The government of Israel controls the United States.
Israel has run American foreign policy for 30 years.
It feels like we're just owned by Israel. We just never knew it.
Is the United States government now just taking edicts and orders from Israel?
Kind of looks that way. Well, kind of is that way. So it's very easy to find at least the above board Israeli influence funding of American politicians. Here's the guy that President Trump is actually incredibly funded by AIPAC, the Israel lobby. But here's the guy that President Trump is running against Thomas Massey for the congressional seat in Kentucky. Ed Gallerine, who's received $5.7 million from pro-Israel lobby groups, where Thomas Massey has accepted zero. So remember this, Thomas Massey is a guy in green. A guy in green or gal in green is someone who has accepted no money from Israel lobbyist groups. And you see there's proportionately very few of them. Hey friends, we'll get back to the video in a second, but first, every workout, injury, or surgery creates good and bad microscopic damage inside the body. Muscle inflammation and tissue breakdown can peak within 72 hours after physical stress, which is why recovery is just as important as training. So meet Regenerate from the Wellness Company, your new recovery resource. Regenerate is the first ever oral triple peptide recovery drops designed for full body healing without injections. It works by supporting the body's natural repair process through a proprietary aquasome peptide delivery system. At the core is BPC 157, a body protective peptide known for supporting gut lining integrity while helping tendons, ligaments, and soft tissue recover faster. Alongside it is KPV, a powerful anti-inflammatory tripeptide, which helps calm excessive inflammation, restores immune balance, and enhances the regenerative effects of BPC. Lastly, TB500, which supports flexibility, endurance, and tissue repair by promoting healthy blood flow and cellular repair. No needles, no mess, just clean liquid drops powered by aquasome delivery for superior absorption. And if you're ready to recover smarter, go to twc.health/JPReacts and use code JPReacts to get $40 off and free shipping for US residents. That's twc.health/JPReacts and use code JPReacts to get $40 off and free shipping for US residents. Regenerate, backed by science and built for recovery. Now back to our video. See another couple examples. Lindsey Graham, why does he even bother still living in the US? Well, I guess that's where he does his best work for Israel, here in the US, to influence the US. Lindsey Graham, over $1 million. President Trump has received in his campaign over $230 million from pro-Israel interest groups. And it is absolutely not a right problem, a left problem. It's an everywhere problem. You can see Kamala Harris, $9.4 million received from Israel interest groups. And this is 250 American state legislatures wined and dined in Israel at a conference titled 50 States, One Israel. Yeah, American politicians. No, that's not in front of the White House. It's not on American soil. 250 American politicians sitting and standing in the place that they work for. Are they monogamous with Israel? Realistically, probably not. They probably do some things for America. But doing some things for a foreign government, it seemingly is... what's a phrase? A conflict of interest? Is that the phrase? Do I have that right? Is that the phrase? And in fact, on the point that it's not a problem on the right, a problem on the left, it's a problem on all sides. I put this post up on Twitter the other day. It got a ton of traction because it really just spoke to the obviousness of the problem. It was kind of like voicing what everybody else was feeling, at least 250,000 other people. Communists to the left of me, Zionists to the right. Here I am, stuck in the middle with you. Here we are, stuck in the middle with each other. It's communists over there. God, it's the Zionists over there. Why are you guys on American soil? We don't do communism, and we're not supposed to do Zionism. What is this? But there's an even deeper, scarier realization that many of us are seeing now, and Theo Vaughn went incredibly viral for saying it so honestly, clearly, and vulnerably. Check this out.
But I do have a lot of uncomfort about America's relationship with Israel, the Israeli political leaders. That's what I mean. I believe that group it just feels like a satanic regime. It feels like they just want to cause pain.
Now, a lot of people get confused. They hear this, Zionism? What is that? Is that the same as, that's like Christianity? Or wait, it's also Jewishness? Just so you know, Zionism, it's a political ideology created by largely John Darby, also perpetuated by C.I. Scofield with a book he wrote in 1909 called the Scofield Reference Bible. By the way, heavy financial backing from the Rothschilds family to spread it. So a lot of people are under Zionist influence. Some don't know it, some do know it, and see it as a really good thing. But what they don't understand is Zionism is not a religion. It's a political ideology. It attaches itself to Christianity and or Judaism and gives drastically different interpretations of the Bible than what were there prior to John Darby and C.I. Scofield doing their immense writings on Zionism. Here's a quick clip. Check this out.
In 1909, a guy named Cyrus Scofield wrote a reference Bible. And he said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to translate this a little into more modern English, and I'm going to give them my interpretation of what this means. He gave it to all of the book clubs. He gave it to the influential people in New York to try and get it more and more published because it supported the Zionist cause. Because he would take comments like Genesis 12:3 that says, I will bless those who bless us and I will curse those who curse us. That statement, Scofield took and said, this means we have to support Jews in Israel forever.
Which, by the way, you can check out the full episode of Michael Lester on the Sean Ryan Show, episode 277. If terms like Zionism and dispensationalism are terms that are either new to you or you've heard them used but don't really know what they mean, I would encourage you to read this Substack by John Mappin. John Mappin, by the way, he was a friend of Charlie Kirk's, had a Twitter post a few days ago, went super viral, where he shared his last conversation with Charlie Kirk, where, according to John Mappin, Charlie Kirk said, I think Netanyahu is a psychopath. Anyway, this Substack written by John Mappin, I'll link it in the description below, The Theology of Endless War, from Plymouth to Persia, How Dispensationalism Captured Politics and Brought Us to the Brink with Iran. It's incredibly relevant to what's going on with the war that we're fighting for Israel and how our government is very occupied by Israeli politicians who call themselves American. But nonetheless, it is a short, concise, very clear read to start to understand things that not too long ago I didn't understand whatsoever. But I think a certain amount of knowledge is really important to recognize the Zionist psyop that we're currently in. So I'll link John Mappin's Substack below if you care to check it out more. With that said, thank you for tuning in. Scary times, yet there's no better time to think for yourself, say what you think than a time like now. With that said, let me know what you think about all this in the comments below, and I'll see you on our next video. But until then, stay American.